All are welcome here. If you are new to us, or if you've been here since the foundation, whether you come once a year or every week, whether you have another faith tradition or have been raised a Unitarian Universalist, you are welcome here today, particularly for this day that I predict to be rather chaotic, but a lot of fun. I'm Nancy Reid-McKee. I'm the ministerial intern for this year. With me today is the Reverend Natalie Fenimore. This congregation is also served by Reverend Ned White and Reverend Jennifer Brower, who is currently on sabbatical leave until February. I would like to call your attention to a few of the announcements in the order of service. I'd like you to read through those when you have time, but to highlight a few. The first is that this coming Wednesday is our first medical Qui-Gon class for the senior health over at Hadley House. If you would like to donate a poinsettia for someone you love and decorate our worship room, those donations are due by tomorrow, please. You will also notice in the pews in front of you there are new pledge envelopes. If you have not yet made a pledge payment on your pledge for this year, the last day to do so is December 31st, and we encourage you to take care of this today before the holiday spirits rob your memory of that need. We are also almost $600 short, needed for the holiday meals for the Inn and the ACQC, so any money put in the offering plate today will help purchase chickens for the holiday meals, so we welcome your generosity today. I would also like to lift up members of our community who are in need of special attention and love and care right now. Most of you will want to know that Reverend Ned White is recovering successfully from his surgery they had on Thursday. And he will be home soon. Robin Finnan-Jones is also recovering from surgery. Both have asked for cards and emails, but please no visitors at this time. And finally, I am saddened to let you know that Joan Wald passed away this last week. Her family asks for your thoughts, and her memorial service is going to be held today at 1:30 in the chapel. Please remember these members in your hearts and your thoughts today. Now is the time in our service when we take a few minutes to greet those around us, making new friends and old friends. As December opens up before us, we turn toward our holiday celebrations in search for common threads of meaning. We begin with Yule, the winter solstice, and we are invited to explore darkness, life cycles, and seasons. Yule reminds us that we all partake in the miracle of renewal. Hanukkah, the festival of lights, commemorates a time of miracles, when the faith of the Jewish people sustained them to reclaim their holy temple and keep the light of the menorah burning for 8 days. Christmas, the celebration of Jesus' humble birth in a manger, offers us to revisit the miracle of birth and the desire to find saviors to heal the scars of humanity. Here in this congregation, you are just as much a holiday miracle as the turning of the earth, as persistence and dedication to a faith, or as the creation of each new life. We see the love you give to others, the space you create to hold one another's joys and sorrows, and the generosity and spirit you entrust to this community. You are the holiday miracle. This community is one of miracle makers.
I invite forward Emily D'Angelo, Mike Whiteman, Eliza, and Lily to light our chalice. We light our chalice today as a symbol of the flame in our hearts. Let this holiday season rekindle our spirits. Let our songs reignite our passion. Let us glow with the bonds we share with family and friends. And may we burn with a fierce love for this world. Thank you.
So far, with our Advent wreath, we have lit a flame of patience and another to dispel the darkness. This week, we pledge to work for that most rare of things, peace on earth. In this holiday season, may we find peace inside ourselves. May we be peace for those around us. And may we renew our commitment to bring peace and justice to this world. May we be peace.
We light the Hanukkah candles in wonder and joy and gratitude, each candle a miracle. When the Holy Temple was rededicated at the time of the Maccabean liberation battle, only 1 day's worth of oil remained, yet it burned for 8 days, so we light candles in remembrance. We rededicate ourselves to the miracle of light in a season of darkness, to the miracle of trust in a time of anxiety, to the miracle of hope in a time of despair, to the miracle of faith in a time of cynicism. We rededicate ourselves to the miracle of wholeness in a time of fracture, to the miracle of courage in a time of fear, to the miracle of resistance in a time of oppression, to the miracle of peace in a time of violence. And in a time of hatred, we rededicate ourselves to the miracle of love.
I invite you to come light your own candle today with the words of Howard Thurman in your heart. I will light candles this Christmas, candles of joy despite sadness, candles of hope where despair keeps watch, candles of courage for fears ever present, candles of peace for tempest-tossed days, candles of grace to ease heavy burdens, candles of love to inspire all my living, candles that will burn all the year long. I invite you forward to our candle boxes on each side of the congregation.
Good morning. I think we should sing together. Will you turn to 362 in your hymnal? Rise up, O flame. We eventually are going to do this as a round, but let's learn it first. So I'm going to ask the choir to sing it through once. Shall we try it all together? And rise up, O flame, my light glowing, show us beauty, vision, and joy. Good. Now I see that you found it. You all kind of looked and watched the music go by. But let's actually try singing it together. All right? Because God forbid I tell the choir not to sing. Here we go, all together, and rise up, O flame, my light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Good, what we're going to do is, if you'd stand up, please. We're going to divide down the center aisle, and that's true for upstairs as well. You can kind of envision that. I'm going to ask the sopranos and tenors to start. We're going to do this in two parts. So this side will start. You guys will follow. We're going to sing it once through, all together, and then we'll have this side start, and we'll do it 3 times. Does that make sense? Here we go. So we're going to sing it first all together, and then they'll start. And rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
remain standing as we recite the words of affirmation in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest of truth is sacrament, and service is prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need. This we do affirm and covenant with each other. In this season of light, there are many stories told. Many of those stories are about Jesus. Our first graders will tell the story of his simple birth, for the birth of each child is a miracle.
Christmas in the stable. Once upon a time, there was a child sitting on her mother's knee who wanted to hear about Christmas. So his mother told her about Christmas in the stable.
There was a Christmas long ago and far away,
She said, but the child did not know about long ago and far away. He only knew their own farm and a few yesterdays. And so, as his mother spoke, the child saw everything as if it were happening in their own stable, perhaps even now.
there was an evening long ago, and a man and a woman were wandering along the road in the darkness.
The child nodded, picturing the road that went beside their farm.
They walked a long way and were tired. Now they wanted to sleep, but they did not know where to go. In all the farmhouses, the lights were out. Everyone was asleep and did not care about those who wandered on the roads. It was dark and cold. There was not even any stars out to light the sky. But by the road there was a little stable. The man opened the door slightly and spread the light of his lantern.
The mother paused and stroked the child's hair.
Perhaps there were animals in there. Do you think so?
The child knew much about stables, and he agreed. There were animals in there.
But the animals were already asleep. When they heard someone come through the door, they woke up. And saw the two wanderers standing in the light from the lantern. But why they had come to their stable in the evening, the animals did not know. But perhaps they could understand how cold and tired and hungry the people were. Perhaps the unicorn understood when the woman put her cold fingers under her mane to find warmth. Perhaps the cow understood when the man milked her and drank her warm milk. Perhaps the sheep understood too, for when the woman lay down in the straw to sleep, they clustered around to give her warmth.
So the night fell silently over the stable and all those who were in there. Then everything was still.
And when the night was darkest and most still, there was all at once a cry in the stable. It was the first cry of a newborn baby. At the same moment, all the stars of the night came into the sky. One was bigger and brighter than the others. It took its place right over the stable and shone with a beautiful, clear light. Now there were shepherds out that night. They were going to fetch some sheep who were still staying in the fields, though winter had come. And the shepherds saw the star rise over the stable. They saw the whole sky lighted.
Why is a star burning over our stable? The shepherds asked each other. Come, let us go and see what has happened.
Along snowy paths, they hurried home with their sheep and lambs. In the stable, they found a newborn child lying in his mother's arms.
The star is shining because of the child, the shepherds whispered. Never before was there a child born in our stable.
Now the child needed sleep, but there was neither cradle nor bed. Only a crib was there with hay in it for the horse to eat. The mother made a soft, hollow place in the hay and laid her child down. The horse stood still, his eyes gentle as he watched.
So the night passed. The child slept in the crib. The animals and shepherds stood silently around. Everything was quiet.
Over the stable, the Christmas star kept shining, for it was on a Christmas night that all this happened. A Christmas night long ago and far away, the very first one.
The child looked up at his mother and smiled. He did not know about long ago and far away, but now he knew about Christmas.
Today, we're going to hear a story called Herschel and the Hanukkah Goblins. It was the first night of Hanukkah when Herschel of Ostropol arrived in the village. He was tired and hungry, was so looking forward to the bright candles, merry songs, and platters of potato latkes. But when he arrived in the village, it was silent and dark. Not a single Hanukkah candle could be seen.
Isn't tonight the first night of Hanukkah?
We don't have Hanukkah, Herschel.
No, Hanukkah, how can that be?
It's because of the goblins. They haunt the old synagogue and they hate Hanukkah. When we light our menorah, they blow out the candles. They break our dreidels and they throw our latkes on the floor.
Oh my God, on the floor. I'm not afraid of goblins. Tell me how to get rid of them.
Oh, it's not as easy as you think. You must spend 8 nights in the synagogue. The Hanukkah candles must be lit each night, and on the 8th night, the king of the goblins must light them himself. That is the only way to break their power.
I am not afraid. If I can't outwit a few goblins, then my name isn't Herschel of Ostropol.
And so the villager wished Herschel good luck.
Good luck.
They gave him some hard-boiled eggs to eat along with a big jar of pickles. They also gave Herschel a brass menorah, a package of candles, and a box of matches, and then said goodbye. Nobody expected to see Herschel again. It was long after sundown when Herschel climbed to the top of the hill where the synagogue stood. He put 2 candles in the menorah and set it on the windowsill. He struck a match and lit the shame's candle. He said the blessings and was about to light the other candle when...
Hey, what are you doing? I am lighting Hanukkah candles. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah.
Oh, no, it's not. We don't allow Hanukkah around here.
Is that so? Who's going to stop me? A pipsqueak like you?
I may be little, but I'm strong.
Really? Can you crush rocks in your hand?
In the dim light, the boiled egg looked just like a rock to the goblin. When he saw Herschel squeeze the rock until it smashed, he shook with fear.
Now go away and let me light my candles in peace.
All right, but you better not be here tomorrow. Big, scary goblins are coming. If they catch you lighting Hanukkah candles, you'll be sorry.
We'll see about that. And he lit the first candle.
On the second night, another bigger goblin appeared. Herschel was finishing his dinner of pickles and hard-boiled eggs.
Have some pickles.
Pickles?
Here, catch.
Pickles are good.
Do you like them? I have plenty in this jar. Take all you want.
The greedy goblin grabbed as many pickles as his claws could hold. But when he tried to pull his fist out of the jar, he couldn't.
I'm stuck. You put a spell on this jar to bind me.
That's right, and it's a very powerful spell. You came here to stop me from lighting Hanukkah candles. So now I'm going to light them while you stand with your hand stuck in that jar.
No,
And watch.
I hate Hanukkah.
Herschel said the blessings and lit the candles. Then he sang all his favorite Hanukkah songs. The goblin wailed and carried on so much that finally Herschel decided to let him go.
Shall I tell you how to break the spell?
Yes, I hate Hanukkah.
Then let go of the pickles. Oh, your greed is the only spell holding you prisoner.
The goblin let go of the pickles. His hand slipped out of the jar. He was so furious, he stamped his foot so hard that he shattered into a million pieces and the wind blew him away.
At this point in our story, we will pause to take an offering for the life and health and work of this, our congregation. Would the ushers please come forward?
The third night of Hanukkah came. Herschel felt something watching him as he set the candles in the menorah. Instead of lighting them, he began playing with the dreidel. An hour passed. Herschel looked up. Sitting across the table was a goblin with a fiery red face and two enormous horns.
Hey, it's getting late. When are you going to light the candles?
Later. There's plenty of time. Dreidels are lots of fun. You can also make lots of money if you know how to play.
Really? I like money. How do you play?
After you spin, if the dreidel lands on sin, then you can give me a handful of gold. If it lands on hay, you can give me half your gold. If it falls on Gimel, you can give me all your gold. Understand?
Wait, there's one letter left. What about that one?
That's none. If the dreidel falls on none, you don't give me anything. Ready? Let's play.
And so the goblin spun the dreidel. It fell on Shin, and then on hay, and finally on Gimel. By the time he was done, the goblin had given all his gold to Herschel. He was very unhappy about losing his money.
When are you going to light the Hanukkah candles?
There's plenty of time. Get some more gold and we'll play with the dreidel again.
Not me. I'm leaving now. I don't like this game, I don't like Hanukkah, and I don't like you. Goodbye.
The goblin spread his wings, swooped out the door, and flew off into the night. Herschel lit the candles all by himself. On the following nights, other goblins came. One had 6 heads. One had 3 eyes. All were terrible and fierce. They growled and roared and changed themselves into horrible shapes. They tried to stop Herschel from lighting the Hanukkah candles, but Herschel fooled them all. He just had one night of Hanukkah left. Finally, the last night of Hanukkah had arrived. Herschel was feeling sleepy when he heard a horrible voice.
Happy Hanukkah, Herschel of Osterpol.
Did I hear something?
It is I, King of the Goblins.
Oh, don't be silly. You're one of the boys from the village trying to scare me.
I'm not a boy. I'm the King of the Goblins.
I'll believe it when I see it. Show yourself to me.
Now Herschel was scared. Even in the darkness, he could see the outline of a monstrous shape filling the doorway, a figure too horrible to describe. He pretended not to care.
It's too dark. I can't see anything. Why don't you light the candles by the door? Then I can see who you really are.
Indeed you shall.
A match flared, and the first candle caught the flame. Herschel's blood turned to water at the awful sight before him, but he didn't lose courage.
It's still too dark. What are you afraid of? There are plenty of candles. Why not light them all?
A hideous hand took the shame's candle and lit the others one by one. Herschel felt himself growing faint, but he forced himself to look. His eyes got wider and wider at each candle, as each candle caught the flame. 6, 7, 8. The King of the Goblins stood before him.
Now, Herschel, do you see who I am?
I know you have no power. Your spell is broken. See? The menorah is lit. You lit the Hanukkah candles yourself.
The King of the Goblins roared with fury. The earth trembled and a mighty wind rose. It ripped off the synagogue roof and blew down the wall. Around the menorah, a whirlwind howled, but the candles never flickered. The King of the Goblins had no power over them. The spirit of Hanukkah had triumphed. Herschel waited until the last candle burned out. Then he started down the road in a hurry. He didn't want to miss the last night of Hanukkah. But there was no reason to worry. In every window, there stood a menorah with 9 gleaming candles to light the way. The whole village was waiting for him.
Please rise in body or spirit. And join in singing hymn number 221, Light One Candle.
Be seated. Not gold, nor myrrh, or even frankincense would I have for you this season, but simple gifts, the ones that are hardest to find, the ones that are perfect, even for those who have everything, if such there be. I would, if I could, have for you the gift of courage, the strength to face the gauntlets only you can name, and the firmness in your heart to know that you, yes, you, can be the bearer of the quiet dignity that is the human glorified. I would, if my intention could make it happen, have for you the gift of connection, the sense of standing on the hinge of time, touching past and future, standing with certainty that you, yes, you, are the point where it all comes together. I would, if I could make it so, have for you the gift of community, a nucleus of love and challenge to convince you in your soul that you, yes, you, are a source of light in a world too long believing in the dark. Not gold, nor myrrh, or even frankincense would I have for you this season, but simple gifts, the ones that are hardest to find, the ones that are perfect, even for those who have everything, if such a thing be. Blessed be.